Randy, put your cup down and turn around. Ma'am?
Let go of me. You let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me. Oh, no. Let go of me.
If you aren't familiar, the woman being detained here is Tina Peters, the Republican former Mesa County, Colorado clerk who completely bought into Donald Trump's 2020 election lies so much that a grand jury indicted her on 10 counts after investigating her and her staffers for election security breaches. She would go on to say this the day after her arraignment, and pay attention to the networks she's speaking on.
At that arraignment, I was served with, before I walked in, I was served with a subpoena that, get this, Brandon, it's from Eric Coomer. So Eric Coomer is I won't even call him a gentleman. I will call him Antifa. I will call him Dominion, the one that did the software that he bragged about.
Just so we're clear, the employee she's talking about currently has a defamation suit ongoing against Donald Trump and other conservatives for spreading the lie that he's involved with Antifa. Coomer was director of strategy and security at Dominion Voting Systems during the 2020 election, becoming a prime target for the likes of Peters, Mike Lindell, and other election deniers doing Trump's bidding. And speaking of Trump,
Not the family.
No.
This is a rock star.
Right, she is.
And then they went after you. They go after you if you're investigating.
Yes.
I would have thought.
Right.
I've been investigating since day one, President Trump.
Peters paid tribute to Trump at Mar-a-Lago during her 2022 campaign for Secretary of State as Trump floated the idea of endorsing her for all she did to investigate his election fraud claims. Thankfully, she would lose that race and would not be given control over the state's election process. But that didn't stop her, people, from continuing to spew these lies, even as recently as earlier this year, while awaiting her eventual guilty conviction and subsequent sentencing.
You know how you have like a premonition? You just know that something. And I remember telling my chief deputy, I said, I don't know why I'm saying this, but this is going to change the whole United States and maybe the world. And then I went, I have no idea why I just said that. So, I believe.
Yeah, that's like a God download. That's what I always call it.
Yeah.
It's a download from God. It just comes in and you say it. You don't know why.
The things that were done in this trial that people can go back and watch on Frank's speech was just atrocious. I mean, people can see it for themselves. Unfortunately, the jury was not allowed to see what was going on. They were very shielded from the facts of this case, from the defense of this case. I'm going to keep speaking out about the injustice, about what's going on in these big multinational global corporations that have these vote flipping software.
Are you facing multiple felony accounts for your alleged involvement in the election security breach? So is that a lie as well?
It's not a security breach. I did my job. Don't you want your elected officials that you elect to preserve your election records? Don't you want
obstructing a government operation is not somebody that I want representing me as a clerk. No, ma'am. I don't want people like that. And I don't want people calling people pedophiles with no evidence to back it up.
And in one of the most ironic statements you'll hear, she said this just weeks before her sentencing after she was found guilty and convicted on 3 counts of attempting to influence a public servant, 1 count of conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation, 1 count of first-degree official misconduct, 1 count of violation of duty, and 1 count of failing to comply with Colorado's Secretary of State.
With a felony, here I am standing for voter integrity and voter truth, and with a felony, I can't even vote.
Now that is very interesting. And they sent you in there and checked you for fentanyl, right?
Yeah, and that's what the DA let a guy with 26 pounds of fentanyl go.
Yeah,
go
there
after
we
me.
go. That's justice.
So, I mean, it's just
Jesus help our system.
Jesus help the people that are opposing me and the truth.
So now they're suddenly okay with felons having the right to vote. Got it.
Former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters was sentenced to 9 years behind bars yesterday for a data breach scheme inspired by Trump's false claims of voter fraud. She allowed a man affiliated with MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell to misuse a security card to illegally access the county's election system.
When you've got a defendant like Ms. Peters, who refuses to take any responsibility at all and continues to engage in dangerous, illegal behavior, it sends a very clear and compelling message. Undermining our elections will not be tolerated.
You know what just happened? She was just sentenced to prison for 9 years for breaching election security and illegally tampering with data. It's so insulting that she thought she could get away with allowing access to the voting system to an expert affiliated with MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, a leading proponent, by the way, of the Trump election conspiracy theory. You're a charlatan who used and is still using your prior position in office to peddle a snake oil that's been proven to be junk time and time again. You are no hero. Your lies are well documented. And it just baffles me the lengths that people go to serve Donald Trump, because that's what's going on here. That's it. What does he have on you? You know what I'm saying? Why are you going to these lengths for such a despicable human being? Why do you think you're going? I mean, maybe, people get away with things, so maybe that's why. But you had to know it was going to come back on you. So I have no sympathy for that, because she is somebody who put so much into question about not only her reputation, but other people who are doing the right thing. So now you've got people, elected officials, who have decided to retire because of the harassment that they got. Okay, they have led directly to death threats, according to Colorado County Clerks Association Director Matt Crane, telling Barrett that Peters' false allegation, in a real and specific way, have led to specific death threats and general threats to the lives and families of people who work in our elections. So I am all for her going to prison for 9 years. Probably should be more, because you are talking about trying a conspiracy theory, okay, that is going to or could affect millions. It is an election. Elections are very important into what happens in our country moving forward. So I think you should make it 10, 11 years, okay? Now, that's what I think.